different mindsets of different approaches, such as Waterfall, Scrum, Lean, Discipline Agile, and Amplio. Today's 5 minutes short. I'm Joshua Barnes, and I'm joined by Al Shalloway. So one of the things that, oftentimes we hear coaches talk about, we see in different types of training, we see teams trying to understand what this is, leadership understand what it is what is the mindset, or what is an agile or lean mindset? And Al, with respect to these approaches we've got here, what do you think?
Yeah, well, mindset's very important because intentions are usually similar, but the way to get there is different. And actually, I could use what happened today. I'm not driving, by the way. Yes, I am in my car. Let me
He's on
keep that on.
location.
I'm on location. I'm off to the side of the road, parked in a safe place, not driving. So don't worry. But this did not fit my waterfall plan of today. It's what I was planning to do, but I adjusted. Well, see, what people need to remember is intentions and mindset are two different things. Waterfall actually has good intentions. You want to know what the value is going to be, what it's going to take me to get there, how much effort, what the schedule is. Those are all good things. You want all those things. The problem is you can't get there with the mindset of Waterfall, which is that we can predict, that we can plan, we can follow the plan, we could do one step and then hand it off to the next and then maximize each of the steps. Waterfall in some ways is like mass manufacturing in that regards. But it's important to recognize that Waterfall's intentions are quite good. We want all those things. And if you're talking to management about how you can't do Waterfall, you're lumping it too much. You need to talk about how we can only predict so far. We can predict some. We can't predict very far out in advance. And when it comes to discovery of what customers need, we can't predict that very well. So we want to keep that in mind. That's the Waterfall mindset. Now, Scrum is a different Scrum, Lean, Discipline, Agile, and Amplio all follow under what we could call the Agile mindset, but they take different approaches. So I'm actually going to throw in a little bit about Agile. Agile suggests we need to learn, adjust. We can't see very far out. We're in a complex situation, and that we can't do all the prediction. We still want the same stuff. We still want lower costs. We want to know what it's going to take us. We want to know what the value is going to be, but we recognize the constraints of reality. Actually, mostly, we recognize some of the constraints of reality. And Scrum's approach, and a lot of people misunderstand Scrum. And it's funny, I get accused of misunderstanding Scrum because I talk about how it's used, not how it's designed. Scrum is designed as a framework to help you see what your challenges are, what your impediments are, and then give you a way to solve them. And the mindset is it has to do that because it doesn't believe you can see like a way everything works. It considers things like a black box. So it's a framework to help you see what you need to do more than a framework that helps you actually solve your problem directly. And when you're working with a cross-functional team on a product or extending a product, it works quite well. Unfortunately, it doesn't get used that place much because teams aren't autonomous anymore. But the mindset in Scrum, aside from the approach, is that there's not this deterministic model you can look at. Now, of course, when I say deterministic, I don't mean you can plan all out, but that there are rules that things obey and follow. And I disagree with that, actually. I think Lean has taught us that there are a lot of what we call linear events. You do this, that happens. You do this, that happens. Now, that's not all that happens. There is complexity. Outside complexity affects us. But Lean deals with that in a different way. Lean deals with market conditions or things that aren't under our control by enabling us to pivot. By attending to those things we can control, it enables us to respond quickly to those things we can't control. Okay.
Yep.
It almost sounds like a that prayer, the serenity prayer. Let me control the things I can so I can relate and react to the things I can't. That's what Lean's about: eliminating waste by eliminating waste and delays rather in the value stream. Now, Discipline Agile has a different approach than all of these in some sense. DA comes from the mindset that there are no universal practices. There are some universal principles. So you cannot give people a set solution. But what you can do is give them an understanding and then have a collection of things that they can pick from once they understand a little bit. So Discipline Agile is not a framework as much as it is a toolkit. Now, Amplio, to round this out, this is kind of my approach. I did build the Discipline Agile Value Stream Consultant Workshop, and it's mostly consistent with, I've taken it kind of to the next level, but I haven't really changed my mindset significantly, just some of the implementations. My view is that there is a huge amount of knowledge that we need to access. And there are not that many universal principles. The trick with this huge amount of knowledge is, and I don't mean access just in a reference way like the DA toolkit does, although that's good and that should be part of it, but it needs to be accessed over time. So at the beginning, you want to say, what's the smallest amount we can use to get started? And then as you learn, you get more as you can take advantage of it. So it's a continual learning process, filling in the blanks. The trick isn't how much do you learn. The trick is what's the rate at which you learn. And as long as you can control the rate, you can avoid cognitive overload. So that was close to 5 minutes. For me, it's pretty good, but that's a good overview. Please ask questions. I'm happy to go into greater detail.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for some of the comments that have come through. We'll address those, and we'll see you on our next 5-minute short.